The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Rescue team, not assassins. Now, what do we gotta do?
In a part of the world where there are no rules.
We pick up their trail at the chopper, run them down, grab those hostages before anybody knows we were there.
What do you mean, we?
Deep in the jungle, where nothing that lives is safe.
You lose it here, you're in a world of hurt.
Showtime, kid. Knock, knock.
An elite rescue squad
You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
is being led by the ultimate warrior.
We need the best. That's why you're here.
But now,
What's got Billy so spooked?
there's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man. They're up against the ultimate enemy.
Holy Mother God.
Nothing like it has ever been on Earth before.
She says the jungle just came alive and took him.
We cannot see it.
No blood, no bodies. We hit nothing.
But it sees the heat of our bodies and the heat of our fear.
Whatever it is out there, it killed Harper. And now it wants us.
It kills for pleasure.
He was skinned alive.
It hunts for sport.
It's killing us one at a time.
We're all gonna die.
But this time, it's picked the wrong man to hunt.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Century Fox presents Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. The hunt begins Friday, June 12th at theaters everywhere.
All right, guys, Jimbo here. Just letting you know that this is our 5th anniversary episode. We asked some of our fellow podcasters and friends if they would like to send any congratulatory audio to us, that we would plug it in. So here's what we got. Thanks for listening.
Jimbo, Kyle, ADZ, and Art Toast, a.k.a. Jimbo's dad.
Congratulations, guys, for 5 years of podcasting. That's impressive. Very impressed and very proud of you guys.
Yes, for sure. You guys put out some great stuff. You guys have done a heck of a lot of stuff for us, for sure. We very much appreciate it, and just keep doing what you're doing, guys. Appreciate you. Love you. Happy birthday anniversary podcast, and
So 5 more years.
5 more years, guys. Thanks for everything you do. And stay evil, guys.
All right, guys, welcome to the Tragedy of Cinema's the 5th birthday episode.
Yeah, 5th birthday, 5th anniversary, and I'm your co-host, Kyle.
Yeah, and
I'm butting in immediately.
Right, and I'm Jimbo. So
Jimbo has a cold.
5 years already. Yeah, this summer, winter, springer, whatever you want to call it, weather is just You can't go from 88 one day down to 22.
The allergies are in.
So if I sound like Barry White, you guys just have to bear with me. So, so instead of giving Kyle a question today, I figured I'm going to promote or talk about some podcasts that have meant a lot to this podcast and me and Kyle over the years. And so everybody, if you want some other stuff to listen to, these are some podcasts that are awesome. So they deserve, a listen, maybe a review. So first off, without doubt, the one that helped start it all was Jerry and Tracy Pauly from Hillbilly Horror Stories. Jerry was kind enough, if you've listened to the podcast long enough, Jerry was kind enough to meet me. And what I thought was going to be my co-host at the time, down at Texas Roadhouse in Louisville, I took him out to eat. He answered any questions I had, and of course, he was instrumental in us being part of live shows and everything. So, Jerry and Tracy, we thank you from the bottom of our heart. We love you guys. Next, we have Tim Mullins. He does the solo audio drama. He's also got something new coming out. I don't know if he's ready to announce it yet, but Tim's helped in a lot of ways, giving feedback. He even had me on as one of the voice actors for his Hillbilly Horror House. Danny, R.I.P. We miss him so much, but he's a great guy, so give him a listen to. And his audio dramas, he does some quality work there. Leslie Fear, she does the Because I Want to Know podcast. Back in the day, Terrence and I were one of her first guests on her podcast, promoting this podcast. So hopefully everybody gives her a listen too. She's a wonderful lady. Of course, our really good friends, the Evil Never Dies podcast with Brett and Carl. Them two guys, boy, they're either really in it or Carl just likes to trail off and not talk about anything because he gets upset at times. But they've become really good friends over the years. I met Brett down there in Dallas when me and my son went to WrestleMania a couple years ago. And, of course, Kyle and I do the Planet of the Apes series with him. Mm-hmm. So if you like heavy metal and horror movies, check them guys out.
Yeah.
Also, one of the very first live shows I ever went to with Jerry and Tracy, there was a person there that I'd never met before, but this guy was the first podcaster I had ever saw in person, and that is Shane Waters from Foul Play. He drives around in like a Tesla mystery machine. He's got the mystery machine decals I found there, but true crime, and he also did one about the redheaded murders. And also, I can't think of the name of it, but I think it was Sister Kathy Seznik that they did a Netflix series on. Mm-hmm. He was helping instrumental in digging some of that up. So go give Shane a listen. Foul Play, of course. Our buddy Justin Rimmel from Mysterious Circumstances, another great podcast. Justin just tells it like it is. He's just your average, ordinary dude, but he likes to chit-chat about crazy stuff, paranormal, mysteries, murders, and of course, John Dillinger. If you have any questions about John Dillinger, he's your go-to man. Mm-hmm. Brohio Podcast with Nick and Rob. If you like raunchy comedy. These two guys,
dark humor,
are your go-to for that. But seen them several times over the years, and proud to call them my friends. And last but not least, our buddies at Middle Aged and Creeped Out with Todd, Sean, and Nate. They do a midweek episode as well as normal episodes. So those are all of our podcasting friends that we would like to shout out during our 5th year anniversary. So with that being said, Kyle, I think it was last year we were trying to decide what to do, and we were like, let's do Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Yeah. Kyle's like, yes, let's go. And I said, Kyle, we were going through the notes, and I said, Kyle, I think we've already done this. He's like, no, I don't remember doing it.
Impossible.
Yeah. Sure enough, I think it was the year before we had already done it for our anniversary episode. So that was 2.5 hours of my life I'll never get back because I had to watch that movie again. But so this year, the story behind this one's even probably funnier. We will be doing Predator. Probably one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's most famous roles.
If not, the most,
if we pull the curtain back, honestly, we had this recorded, like a year and a half ago. And it was a good episode. It was, man, we were on it that day, and everything was just great.
The best episode you've never heard.
Yeah. So Kyle leaves, right? And I close down my computer and everything, and I go back in to edit and put it in an episode, and can't find it. And I started looking around. There's no file that exists of this. I was like, man, that's weird. So then I went and tried to look up the other episode we did that day. Couldn't find it. And I said, uh-oh. So lo and behold, somehow along the way, lack of sleep, if you will, whatever you want to call it, mental fart, Jimbo deleted these episodes. So it took me this long to actually want to sit down and watch it again because I was so disgusted with myself. I'll never forget telling Kyle.
We all make mistakes, Jimbo. It happens.
Yeah, but he was so mad. He's like, "You've got to be kidding me."
Yeah, because I was really proud of that episode. I feel like we really got the magic going. A magic we surely won't be reclaiming this episode, but we'll do the best we can, right?
Yeah, it was bad day there.
It is what it is.
It's probably going to be a long one, so Kyle, go ahead and take it away.
All right, we have Predator, released on June 12th, 1987, directed by John McTiernan. Follows the story of a team of commandos on a mission in Central American jungle to find themselves and end up finding themselves hunted by an extraterrestrial warrior. This film was also written by Jim and John Thomas, brother writers. Produced by John Davis, Lawrence Gordon, and Joel Silver. Composed by Alan Silvestre. Cinematography was Donald McAlpine. And editors were Mark Hershiff and John F. Fink. Casting director was Jackie Birch, and production designer was John Vallone. Let's see here. Got to get in the groove of things still. First recording of the morning. Yep. Awards for the film. Budget for the film. Budget for the film was $15 million in 1987. In today's value, that'd be worth about $40 million today. Whew. Jim, inflation always just catches me off guard, even after all this time. Opening weekend, it drew in $12 million, almost 12 flat, but the $12,031,638 to be more precise. Just for inflation, that'd be about $32 million today, so a little bit worrying for an opening weekend, though. But luckily, in gross in U.S. and Canada, it made $59.7 million. Just for inflation, it'd be about $163 million. And then gross worldwide, it nearly doubled its earnings again at $98.2 million. Just for inflation, would be about $268 million today. So just for inflation, we're going to say $40 million budget, $268 million return. This movie did well, and a heck of them some. So good for them on that, and that's why it's still a franchise ongoing today with Predator 2, Predators,
The Prey,
and I think they're up to like 6 or 7 now.
Is there like a samurai one coming out or something? Prey 2 or something?
They've hurled that idea wrong. Another one where he fights pirates and predators. The internet was on fire last week because someone suggested they do Planet of the Apes with the Predator, which I thought would be an amazing movie too. I would love to watch that movie, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. But yeah, they always throw around ideas for the Predator because he works in any context. You could stick a Predator anywhere and it makes sense. So that's cool.
Scooby-Doo versus the Predator.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Who's under that mask?
Oh my god! It's a xenomorph. No, run! So that would be hilarious. Actually, I would love to watch that movie. I think it'd be great. Moving on to some of the technical details, we have a runtime of 107 minutes, or just under 2 hours. Sound mix is Dolby Stereo, so surround sound sounds good. This is a color film. Aspect ratio is a very standard 1.85 by 1. And the cameras used for this production were the Panavision Super Speed Z series lenses with the ultra speed cameras. So Panavision Panaflex Gold, very standard for also the time. And also we had a digital intermediate 4K remaster back in 2018, and the process was also spherical for its original production as well. And then film length for the printed format, 35mm, had a film length of around, I don't see the film length on here. Never mind the film length. And let's go move on to the awards, which we have a nomination for 1 Oscar in 1988 for Best Effects and Visual Effects, with the effects for the Predator itself having the invisibility and also the heat vision used in that film too. And then next up, we have a win for 1988 for the BMI Film and TV Awards, where he had won the Film Music Award for Alan Silvestra's tracks in the film. The dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh, they use that like 50 times, and it's great every time because it's so good. Then in 1988, we also have the Hugo Awards, where it was nominated for Best Dramatic Presentation. And then in 1988, we also have the Motion Picture Sound Editors Award for Best Sound Editing and Sound Effects, awarded to Richard Shore for the actual effects of the actual Predator screams and the sound effects going on there, and like the whip of the cracks when the traps go off. Like that sounds so good. And the explosions. The explosions. This film's great. And then finally we have the 1987 Image Awards, where it was nominated for an Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Motion Picture to Bill Duke, playing the role of Mac. Speaking of Bill Duke, let's move on to the cast here. We, of course, have the legendary Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the role of Dutch. Arnold Schwarzenegger practically needs no introduction, of course, but for the sake of this podcast, we're going to do it anyways. Known for such films such as, of course, Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, all the Terminator films, True Lies, Commandos, Twins, Eraser. You name an action movie in the 80s, there's like a 50-50 shot. It was either him or Sylvester Stallone.
Or Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, exactly. So Arnold Schwarzenegger was definitely the biggest action star of that era, and deserved that title wholeheartedly. Worked in a lot of great films, and many of which hold up today, including this one. So Arnold Schwarzenegger there playing the role of Dutch. Then next up, we have the sadly very recently departed Carl Weathers playing the role of Dylan. Carl Weathers, probably most recently recognizable for his role in The Mandalorian show, where I believe he played, I forget the name of the role actually, but basically almost like a friend of The Mandalorian in the show for, gosh, I think they're on season 3 or 4 now, I believe.
4, I believe.
Yeah, 4 now, and doing good there. Yeah, I have no idea. Probably is in the next season, I'm sure, because he passed away so early, so recently. But yeah, and of course other movies such as Action Jackson, where he made great action movie chops going on there, and probably if not this film, his most recognizable role would be Apollo Creed in the Rocky films. For those first 4 Rocky films, Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4. And also alongside Adam Sandler in the film Happy Gilmore, where he played a golfing instructor, which was very great as well. Yeah. Carl Weathers, dearly missed, a fantastic actor, and really just made a huge mark on Hollywood. So absolutely love him to death, and it's sad that he's gone. Next up, we have Elpidia Carlito playing the role of Anna. Elpidia was also most recently in the film, is that Blue Beetle right there? Yeah, Blue Beetle. So actually most recently appeared in Blue Beetle, and was also in the film Salvador in 1986. Yeah. Next up, we have Bill Duke playing the role of Mac. Bill Duke was also in the film Commando in 1985 alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger, where I believe he played a baddie, if I remember correctly. And many other films such as Exit Wounds and Deep Cover, and just generally stole a lot of scenes in this film every time he had a moment to. Oh, he was also alongside in Action Jackson with Carl Weathers as well, so a lot of great stuff going on there. Then next up, we have Jesse Ventura playing the role of Blaine. Jesse Ventura, easily probably well known as a wrestler in the WWE. What was his ring name?
Jesse the Body.
Jesse the Body Ventura. Thank you. I don't know everything. Got to rely on you sometimes. Jesse Ventura, of course, best known as, Jesse the Body Ventura as a wrestler in this film. And he was also in the Batman and Robin film in 1997. Everyone's favorite Batman movie, as they all say. The definitive Batman, as all fans agree.
Is that when the Batsuit got nipples?
That's when the Batsuit got nipples. Back when they knew how to make Batman. You get Batsuit nipples, then you got a real Batman going on too.
Was that Alicia Silverstone's first appearance too?
I believe it. I believe you. I'm not going to debate that. I mean, I'm going to say you're right, even though I have no way of proving you're wrong. Besides, the internet box I have in front of me. But I'm not going to bother with that right now. Next up, we have Sonny Landham playing the role of Billy. He's playing the role of Biddy. Sonny Landham playing the role of Billy. Sonny was also in the films 48 Hours, and he was also in Action Jackson with Carl Weathers again. And he was also in the film Lockup in 1989. So made a lot of waves in the 1980s action film craze of that era too. Then next up we have Richard Chaves playing the role of Pancho. Richard Chaves was also in the movie Witness in 1985.
It's a good movie. It's Harrison Ford.
I haven't watched it. No, I have not watched Witness. I got to watch that sometime.
It's where an Amish kid, is in a bathroom, sees a murder, and Harrison Ford's like a police detective, and he has to go to the Amish village to protect them.
What do you bet I own it and just never watched it? I got to check real quick. Just see
1,000%.
Because I don't know.
I do believe it also stars Kelly McGillis from Top Gun.
1985. Sure enough, I own it, but I've never watched it. Too much. Next up, we have R.G. Armstrong playing the role of General Phillips. R.G. Armstrong was also in the Children of the Corn film, the original one. And he was also in Dick Tracy in 1990, playing the role of Pruneface. Pruneface. Wow, what a name there. Next up, we have Shane Black playing the role of Hawkins. Shane Black was also director of Last Action Hero, and was starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and also of The Nice Guys, with director of The Nice Guys, with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe doing that buddy action kind of detective movie that I loved, but sadly bombed. He also did the director work of the latest Predator movie. No, not the latest Predator movie, because Prey was the latest Predator movie, but the one before the latest Predator movie that was terrible and bombed super, super hard. I think it was just called The Predator 2. And man, that movie is really, really, really bad. But he's still a good director in my eye, even if he did make one trash fire. Hey, everyone gets a mulligan, right? Jeez. And then finally we have Kevin Peter Hall playing the role of the Predator himself, and also the helicopter pilot at the very end of the film as well. Kevin Peter Hall also appeared as Big Top Pee-wee in Big Town, and also Harry and the Hendersons in the film where he played Hazy. Hazley?
No, he played Harry. He was
Harry.
The big Sasquatch dude.
You have terrible penmanship.
Really? That's beautiful. And it's printed. It's not even like I wrote it in cursive. You know, Kyle, if you do your own work, it would be a problem.
You're right. I need to get my own printer, do my own work. You're right. Next up, he was also in Predator 2 in 1990, where he reprised his role as the Predator once again. Presumably because he's the only guy tall enough to really sell that kind of aesthetic of the Predator. So that concludes the cast of Predator there, and that concludes my biggest portion of my notes. Jimbo, take it from me. Let's go through some trivia. If you want me to help you out, go through that so we can get through some of your flu boys.
I will throw some of this stuff over to you.
Sounds good, Jimbo.
There you go.
Thank you. Try and do it back and forth and get it going.
All right. So according to an interview with director John McTiernan, the hole in the jungle appearance of the Predator was played by Jean-Claude Van Damme in a blue screen, which was actually red, but he had a suit. Van Damme quit after 2 days, unhappy with being cast as an uncredited special effect, but can be seen as the Predator if it bleeds, we can kill it. The Making a Predator documentary. The alien was scrapped, redesigned, and eventually played by Kevin Peter Hall, who was 7'2".
Yeah, I remember just seeing the. I'm sure it's in trivia, but like the original pictures of what the alien was supposed to look like.
It looked like a giant frog.
I thought it looked like a lobster almost. Just absolute, just lobster face, dumb boy. Like, oh man, everyone's gonna get murdered by a fish. It was really, really bad. But luckily,
Shellfish can kill you.
Yeah. But luckily, someone had the genius of idea, like, let's put Mr. Pincer Mouse on Rastafari and it'll be called a day.
Some of the early Predator shots were accomplished with a stuntman in a red suit that would later be layered with the visual effect. Quote, but what I really wanted was a monkey. John McTiernan got his monkey, but once we got the red suit on him, the monkey was so embarrassed by the red suit that he hid. He'd go up in a tree and cower, and he wouldn't do what monkeys do.
That's kind of sad and almost verging on animal abuse, but also very funny.
I was wearing a red shirt today.
I am wearing a red shirt. Dance Monkey Dex. I come from the Dance Monkey Dance. I come from the podcast. Several weeks of green screen shooting on a stage in Los Angeles followed a 3-month shoot in Mexico, enabling the filmmakers to pick up some more difficult Predator action shots in the controlled environment of a stage, then composite those elements into location plates. Howard Berger was assigned to the job of taking the Predator suits and heads home after each day of green screen filming to dry them out. We peel the suit off Kevin Peter Hall every night, said Berger. I throw it into the back of my truck and drive home, and every once in a while I think, I'm driving around with the Predator. Hey, everyone want to see what I have in the back of my car? I remember hanging the suits up in the bathroom of my tiny apartment with a little dehumidifier in there to dry out these disgusting, smelly, sweaty suits every night. Oh, that's so gross. But also, oh my gosh, just imagine like peeling back a blue screen and then someone like look at this alien corpse I found. It just smells of sweat and ghastly. It's like, ah!
Oh,
Probably pull some
man.
kids and think it was a real alien. Nice.
The mandibles of the Predator were the idea of James Cameron, who stated, I've always wanted to see something with mandibles. And Stan Winston said, that's an interesting idea. And he started drawing the now famous mandibles on the Predator.
Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Shane Black, and Bill Duke all got terribly sick from the bad water because the filtration system at the hotel where they were staying in Mexico during filming had broken down, and hotel staff failed to tell them several days after it broke down, and the water of the hotel was bad. When they filmed the sequence in which Billy tells Dutch that something is in the tree, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the cast raced to the bathroom when John McTiernan called cut, just because they had basically... The runs. Yeah, sure enough. Oh, boy. It must have been a miserable shooting experience.
The original Hunter model was a large creature with a long neck, a head shaped like a dog, and one big eye in the middle. This can be seen on the camouflage demos on the DVD. It was only when Stan Winston moved in that the complete design of the Predator changed along with the title. It kind of looked... From that described, it reminds me of Flight of the Navigator. Remember the big long neck with the one eyeball?
Yeah. It reminds me of like a bad week where you fight the Power Rangers. That's what it sounds like because it's such a bad description. It's just like it'd be one of the forgettable episodes of Power Rangers when they fought that monster. I wouldn't if you told me right now they recycled the outfit for a Power Rangers episode, I believe you because it sounds that bad.
2 waterfalls are used in the climax of this movie, both near Palenque, Mexico. The first is Maizoja, just outside the village, beginning and end of the sequence, and the other is Agua Azul, about an hour's drive away in the middle part of the sequence. So that last scene is actually 2 different waterfalls.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, so they actually kept together really smoothly because I didn't notice it at all. It was really impressive. In the scene where Mac crushes the dead scorpion under his boot, when the Predator picks up the scorpion in his palm, his biomass thermals make the scorpion look similar to a xenomorph facehugger. That's kind of like
foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing for the future terrible films to come.
The black helicopter pilot seen at the end of the movie is Kevin Peter Hall, the actor who plays the Predator. John McTiernan gave him a brief on-screen role because his work as Predator was so exhausting.
That's very kind of him, too. It's nice to get his face on screen for a little bit and basically, and you would hope open up more opportunities where he can actually be a leading man or something like that, too, in other films. Unfortunately, that's didn't seem to be the case. When the Jungle Hunter is cleaning up his trophy kills, the one on the right belongs to Mac due to the hole in the scorch marks on it caused by the Jungle Hunter's plasma caster when the Jungle Hunter killed him. That's what they're calling him in the film, in this trivia note for the Jungle Hunter Predator. I would just say the Predator, but that's just me.
The original concept for this film originated as a joke. Someone said that the only person Rocky Balboa had yet to fight was E.T. the extraterrestrial.
That would have been... Oh boy, that would have been something else. Okay. The production designer hadn't done any research and had no idea that the trees lost their leaves on the west coast of Central America. 2 weeks into production, the leaves all started dropping. Apparently, the New York Times review commented on how the woods resemble the New Hampshire woods in November.
Whoops.
Whoopsies.
I think it was Dirty Dancing when we covered that the leaves were starting to change, so they had to spray paint them.
I don't...
You weren't here.
I think that was Terrence, yeah.
Yeah. The weapon that Blaine, Jesse Ventura, is using is a minigun. This is a weapon most commonly mounted on the side of a helicopter, and many modifications had to be made that make it usable for the film. It was powered via an electronical cable hidden down the front of Blaine's trousers. The firing rate was slowed down to approximately 1/3 of the normal rate of fire, both to reduce consumption of blanks and to make the spinning of the barrels visible on film. It is rumored that Ventura had to wear a bulletproof vest because of the forceful ejections of spent cartridges, but this is false. Unmodified miniguns ejects out of the bottom, with the cases essentially falling out due to gravity. Close examination of the film, especially the scene in which Mac fires the minigun at the fleeing Predator, along with the other commandos, showed that the ejection of the minigun was not changed.
Yeah. I love actually watching the bonus features on this on the Voodoo, and also the documentary, but Jesse Ventura is completely elated that he gets to fire a minigun for a movie. That's clearly his favorite thing of the day is firing that minigun.
Because he ain't got time to bleed.
He got time to bleed, but he got time to fire a minigun. And thus inspired generations of people to try and fire miniguns in real life.
I wonder how hard it was to fire that thing, though. That thing was massive.
It's almost basically impossible for everyone to actually do it. People have tried, but you get too much rotational force on you, where you're always going to turn way too far to the right, basically, how you're firing it, and then you're, of course, risking firing people behind you. So, pretty bad doing that. People have tried, and it's basically impossible and makes no real logical sense, but it looks insanely cool, so we kind of put it in a movie. And of course, to also do it in Terminator 2, where you would believe a Terminator actually could do it, or Arnold Schwarzenegger being as tough as he is, you almost believe he could do it too. But in reality, that's just too much weight and too much force.
The studio would not allow John McTiernan to shoot this film in anamorphic widescreen due to the complexities of the optical effects. As a sly sort of retaliation, he added an anamorphic version of the film's opening 20th Century Fox logo, which looks noticeably stretched out on screen. I wondered that. It looked kind of weird.
It did. Yeah. Thinking of wiggling weird, the wild boar that Mac killed when the Claymore went off and killed the pig was completely fake. The pig was so unreal. Are you kidding me? John McTiernan stated when he was actually watching the final cut of the film. So he thought the pig prop was pretty bad. I thought it was sold in the film that oh yeah, that's an immediately dead pig. But apparently John McTiernan didn't care for it.
Yeah, John McTiernan didn't like Puerto Vallarta either because the brown leaves made it look less like a jungle.
I understand that. The big tree that was actually used at the end of the conversation is actually made out of concrete. So definitely makes a good plunging weapon then.
Shane Black, who plays Commando Hawkins, is actually a screenwriter. Producer Joel Silver wanted Black, who was writing Lethal Weapon, close to him to review the script.
The only scene where anyone was actually hurt on the film is the bit where Dutch slides down the hillside and falls into the river. The stuntman apparently threw his knee out while falling. Well, there was a second injury. It turned out after the fact, and I found out after I got back into the States that I had broken my wrist and had worked through it. I fell out of a tree, and I was too embarrassed to admit I was hurt, McTiernan said. So John McTiernan also broke his wrist once while filming the film. So that's two small injuries, throwing out his knee and then breaking his wrist, and then John McTiernan breaking his wrist. So pretty safe production, all things considered.
Yep. The Predator's blood, a goopy substance with the color of Mountain Dew, was made on set using a mixture of liquid from Inside Glow Sticks and KY jelly.
Really impressive effect too. It's surprising.
It looked really cool.
Yeah. Because nowadays, you just CG it, but I'm sure they probably did with the Prey movie, for instance. But actually having a real effect with the glowing green blood works really well in this film. In an effort not to get sick while filming in Mexico, John McTiernan instead went without much eating. I lost 25 pounds. The line producer almost lost 40. Schwarzenegger did not get sick due to eating street food in Puerto Vallarta. He ended up playing a scene with an IV bottle in his arm once. The actor grows visibly thinner throughout the movie as he began not eating as well in order to avoid illness. I noticed as well. He kind of looks a lot more lean by the time you get to the end of the film. But yeah, it just shows how dehydrated he is and how much less he actually been eating. So, wow. Yeah. Also, I think many actors, the trailing buff actors, when they lean out, they look a lot better to me. I think they just look cooler.
Due to health and safety regulations, Arnold Schwarzenegger was not allowed to light his cigar inside the helicopter near the beginning of the film. As a result, the glow was added optical in post-production.
Yeah. I'm surprised because I think I would have thought they would have made a prop, like a cigarette lighter that could have just lit up itself or something like that too. Because nowadays we just use an LED for that. But even then, I guess you couldn't really get a practical light in 1987 that could do that. So just one of those things with new technology today. We probably would have done that instead. Yeah, or I would have used the vape.
Jesse Ventura was delighted to find out from the wardrobe department that his arms were 1 inch bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger's. He suggested to Schwarzenegger that they measure arms, where the winner gets a bottle of champagne from the other. Ventura lost because Schwarzenegger had told the wardrobe department to tell Ventura that his arms were bigger.
That's a great prank to play. I'm pretty sure he bet a bottle of wine on it too, or something like that too, just to add injury to insult. That's pretty funny right there. Another thing, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Major Alan Dutch Schaefer was the inspiration and model for the video game Konami's Contra character, Sergeant Bill Reiser, and Sylvester Stallone was John Rambo was being modeled for corporate Lance Beans, Reiser's partner in the original Contra game. They actually just released a remake of Contra called Contra Operation Galuga. or
played
Contra OG, if you will.
played it?
I've seen it. I've watched some videos of it being played, and it seems like an okay remake overall. But they definitely kind of try to reinvent the characters a little bit to be less of direct inspirations from Dutch and Sylvester Stallone's character, Sylvester Stallone's Rambo. But still, they're their own characters now, pretty funny, and they're even more ridiculously ripped, which is ridiculous as well.
Shane Black spent his free time on the set writing the screenplay for The Last Boy Scout.
Oh gosh. In an interview with Steve Austin on his podcast, Jesse Ventura recalled that he mentally went back to his days in Vietnam as a Navy SEAL because of his movie filming in the jungles of Mexico. He explained that the smell, the weapons, the shooting. At one point, my wife came down to the set in Mexico, and while we were asleep, she said that I pulled straight up in the middle of the night and explained, "Don't worry, the area's secure." Then I went back to sleep, and she startled because I had never done that before in our life together. Jesse would go on to say that filming the movie was something else, because apparently got cut off in the writing right there. But clearly it was a reminder of his days in Vietnam there, and he channeled his real life military experience into the role, which is why he sells it so incredibly well. I don't think Jesse Ventura is a particularly good actor, but when it comes to actually selling his real life experiences, he does a great job at it.
Kyle, do you know what the shoulder gun is called on the Predator?
No, not off the top of my head. What's it called, like a phase cannon or something like that?
So the sound editor called the Predator's shoulder gun the Parrot gun because when it moved independently on the Predator while aiming, it reminded them of Peter Sellers with a rubber parrot on his shoulder.
That's really funny. I like it. Like some of the games they've had the Predator in too. They have where you aim down, the little Predator gun comes up too to aim while you're doing it too. So that's pretty funny right there. Jen Hopper, the skinned Green Beret from Fort Bragg, is where the Duffer Brothers got the name for their character Sheriff Jim Hopper in Stranger Things. Oh, cool. So that's a small little another 80s reference in Stranger Things I didn't know about till now. So.
One of the elements in the sound of the snap to Predator vision is a whip crack.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. It sounds great too, because basically it's like Indiana Jones for a split second, go as soon as the almost like a lightning bolt. Almost sounds like when it rips through somebody in a really great way. Richard Landon was one of the several technicians in the mechanical department on Monster Squad, released on 1987. When Stan Winston asked him to mechanize the Predator's face, my reaction was, "I'm going to what? I've never done a radio-controlled mechanism before." Landon had only done cable-controlled mechanisms, so he had to learn a whole new technology in order to get the Predator's face working right. And by gosh, he did a good job. Good on Richard Landon.
Hawkins was originally supposed to wear a distinctive red beret, most likely inspired by the U.S. Army's maroon airborne berets worn by American paratroopers. Shane Black refused to wear it as he thought it would look ridiculous in the jungle. He later regretted this decision as he felt it would have made his character stand out.
I think he's right about both things. He would have looked ridiculous, and also he would have stood out, though.
But also, Shane Black hated the glasses he was given to wear as Hawkins. He wanted to wear authentic military-issue ballistic glasses worn by actual troops in the field, but McTiernan wanted him to look as geeky as possible.
Yeah, shame too. I think I would agree that the ballistic glasses probably would have been a cooler touch. But, oh well. Win some, lose some. Speaking more about the radio-controlled mandibles here, the Predator's mandibles were controlled by a Tonegawa Psycho SSPS-102 servo motor. Richard Landon revealed that it was so big that it lived in the hump of the back of the Predator suit. He was initially concerned where he put the servo, but as it happened, the foam of the suit was so thick in the back that it shrank, creating a nice wide wedge-shaped opening that the fabrication crew while all panicking about. Landon stepped in and solved his problems and theirs. I was like, okay, that's where my servo goes. So a giant servo was in the guy's back, and then I don't know who else it was, but someone else was in, dressing him with all the bones, armor, feathers, and stuff. Someone took the string to the vertebrae, and it just dropped right over it. I was like, okay, this was perfect. It completed the costume, Landon recalled. So it was like a happy accident that he was able to fit the whole servo motor in the Predator's back, and that gives the Predator his distinctive kind of like back curvature that gives him a great silhouette, I think. Right. So cool there.
Because this was the first Predator movie, only the thermal vision and infrared vision were shown from the Predator's point of view. Predator 2 introduces many other vision modes for the Predator. But with good attention to details, you can get hints that the Predator has different vision modes even in this movie. The Predator can obviously see and avoid the trip wires that are hidden everywhere in the forest, which would not be visible if the Predator only used thermal vision. The Predator can also see whether the soldiers are armed, indicating the Predator has a different vision mode to detect solid metal. Mm-hmm. Peter Cullen You know who Peter Cullen is, right?
Yeah, he was a guy. No, he's the voice actor for Optimus Prime.
Yep. Was reluctant to take this job of voicing the Predator as he injured his throat playing the title character of King Kong, but eventually accepted after seeing a picture of the unmasked creature.
Oh, that's interesting. So, I feel silly now that I forgot Peter Cullen did the voice for it. He was even on the cast list, but I skipped over him. Foolish of me. Oh, well. Okay, so with a few notes I have here. Judging by the timestamps in the movie, Dutch had about 40 seconds to get a safe distance away from the Predator once he initiated his self-destruct sequence. So he only had 40 seconds to escape from the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
You know, when you're on Schwarzenegger, that's just easy work, no problem. You just glance over it, it's fine.
After Dutch impels a bad guy against a wooden post with his machete, he utters the immortal one-liner, "Stick around." This was apparently improvised by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I think he wanted to get rid of the knife, right? Because it was it weighed too much. So he didn't want to carry it throughout the rest of the film. So instead, he improvised the whole throw it through a guy's chest and then stick around. Yeah. So that's a fun fact going on there. Body count for the film: 69 humans. Nice. Most of them at the hands of Dutch Schaefer. 1 scorpion, 1 boar, and 1 predator are at the death toll of this film. Yep. According to the Xenopedia, the Alien vs. Predator wiki website, following his last stand against the Predator, Dutch was suffering from radiation sickness due to the Predator setting off his self-destruct device. At the hospital where he was hospitalized, Peter Keyes and the OWLF interviewed Dutch about his encounter with the Predator, but Dutch escaped from the hospital and vanished without a trace. And also, there's a bunch of other crazy little lore there going on with the film, but you get that in comic books, and also it's comic books, so it never happened, actually.
Part of the shoot was 48 hours before Arnold Schwarzenegger's wedding rehearsal dinner. Jesse Ventura teased him about his nuptials, often ruining takes. John McTiernan was not amused. Schwarzenegger missed the final preparation, and Maria Shriver was not happy about that because his mind was more on the film instead of their wedding.
Oh, my gosh. Bad husband, very bad.
Maria Shriver discussed decoration plans concerning her and Arnold Schwarzenegger's new house with him over the phone during filming. She later spent a couple of days on the set in Mexico. The stunt crew played a practical joke on the newly married couple by putting frogs in their shower.
The facial appearance of the Predator was inspired by a wrinkle-faced bat. I guess a wrinkle-faced bat has to have mandibles of some sort, because that would be crazy. Fans sometimes refer to the self-destruct device as a wrist nuke. The nickname probably refers to the size and nature of the explosion itself, since it's never been clarified whether or not the device actually was nuclear in nature. However, in the original script for Predator 2, it is specified that Dutch had to be treated in the hospital for radiation sickness following his final showdown with the creature, and nuclear explosions typically cause toxic amounts of radiation. Also another death in the film. Max death was ranked number 2 by IO9 on the top 10 best Predator kills.
The film provided a variety of hardships for the actors, such as leeches, snakes, stifling humidity, heat, and rough terrain. All of the night scenes were filmed during freezing cold temperatures, which was especially hard on Arnold Schwarzenegger during the latter half of the film, where the mud he had to wear, actually pottery clay, became cold and wet. He was warned it would take his body temperature down a few degrees, and he shivered nonstop even when they tried to heat him with lamps. It just made the clay dry out. He tried drinking a Jagger tea, a schnapps mixture to warm him, but that just got him drunk.
Well, hey, if you can't be warm, at least you can be drunk, right? It'll work. One or the other, you'll get over the shivering cold. A dummy of Sonny Landon was actually used for the graphic scene in which the Predator rips out Billy's skull and spine. Wow.
No, they really...
Wow, IMDb notes. I couldn't figure that out myself. I just thought they used Sonny Landon and just ripped out his skull and spine. Thanks, Nick.
The studio picked Boss Studio for the first design of the Predator to save money. The Predator was more anthropod, insect-like in appearance, and according to Arnold Schwarzenegger, it looked like someone in a lizard suit with the head of a duck. However, the suit was not felt to be scary enough, and initial performer Jean-Claude Van Damme couldn't properly move in it. So basically, Schwarzenegger said, hey, redesign this creature. and they said, okay.
Okay. Schwarzenegger says it, we gotta do it. He had a lot of power in films in the day. During a confrontation scene with Dillon, Dutch mentioned that his crew was not expendable. As of 2020, none of the actors who played Dutch's crew appeared in any of the 3 Expendables films, unlike Arnold Schwarzenegger, who appeared in the first 3 since then. I don't know if he appeared in the last one, though. Although it's not mentioned what the pouch is that Billy clutches when he's afraid, it's something filled with a certain sacred objects that he's sworn by indigenous people, used for protection. So basically kind of a spirit protection kind of a deal that Billy has.
So Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally cast to play the Predator, as we've talked about. The idea that the physical action star would use his martial arts to make the Predator an agile ninja-like hunter, which would have been awesome. However, the original design for the Predator, of course, was too cumbersome and difficult to manage in the jungle, and Van Damme couldn't make the required movements in it. Additionally, it was reported that Van Damme constantly complained about the monster suit being too hot, causing him to pass out, while also voicing his reservations on numerous occasions about the fact that he would not be appearing on camera without the suit. Van Damme was finally removed from the film, officially for being too short at 5'9". Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team bodybuilders were 6'2" and 6'5". He was replaced by Kevin Porter Hall, who was 7'2", and the suit was redesigned because even with a more imposing actor, it was felt to not provoke enough fear.
Yeah. So that, I feel like that movie still hasn't been made too. If any of the listeners here have any suggestion for what is a good alien ninja movie where they fight an alien ninja, I want to see it for sure. But I still don't think the movie has been made yet, and I would still love to see that idea of like, hey, the Predator, but instead of like, the Predator as we know him now, a ninja alien who almost fights in kung fu style and like is like lethal in that capacity.
Oh, so you're talking
Sounds
about,
like a really cool film.
So you're talking about some of the Jedi.
Maybe something kind of like that, but even the too much sword play, I would think something like I actually want like combat, like he just karate chops you and your head explodes kind of violence going on there, But there could be a Japanese film with that exact aesthetic going on there too.
This film had the second biggest opening weekend of 1987. What had the first spot, Kyle?
1987, what had the first spot? I don't know. What
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Beverly Hills Cop 2. Eddie Murphy saving the day.
The B camera was given a reel of incorrect film stock, which is why some shots look a lot grainier than others.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
There certainly are some grainy shots in this film, but I think it adds to the gritty atmosphere. I think it's good. So, Jesse Ventura pulled a prank on Arnold Schwarzenegger by pouring water all over himself while at the gym before Arnold arrived. Thinking that Ventura was drenched in sweat, Arnold believed that Ventura was working out longer than he usually did. He resolved to begin his workout sooner. He and Ventura both started arriving earlier to one-up each other until they both started to arrive at 4 a.m. each morning to work out before then going to film a movie.
Kyle.
Nice.
Kyle, did you ever work out before you started work?
No, that sounds like. I mean, all the credit to those who can do it, but man, I have not had that kind of discipline in my life ever. Probably never will.
The map General Phillips uses to brief Dutch is a map of Brazil. The point is removed, however, by the fact that the countries in which the film takes place are never identified in the course of the movie.
Yeah. Clearly fictitious countries, So it's either South America or Central Africa. Regardless, it's just jungle stuff, and we're going to mention a lot of other country names to imply that Dutch has seen the whole world through Black Ops scenarios. Yeah.
According to McTiernan's DVD commentary, some minor cuts were done for an R rating. Predator 2, on the other hand, had to be cut 20 times for an R rating.
Oh, wow.
So they probably tried to get it.
If not, it would have been like an adult-only kind of cut, I guess. That's insane.
The studio's insurance company would not agree to insure the production unless a bodyguard was hired for Sonny Landham, who played Billy, for the sole purpose of protecting people from Sonny. The bodyguard followed Sonny everywhere to ensure he didn't get into a fight, since he was well known to be violent and short-tempered.
What kind of life do you live where someone else wants to hire a bodyguard to keep you from fighting other people is certainly a crazy, crazy life. That's just a whole other world that man lived in that I don't know. Well, he's still alive, so I don't know what kind of life he lives now. But man, that's quite an attitude to be known for. In keeping with the Black Ops endeavor, the helicopters had no registration numbers nor other identifications. The M203 grenade launcher mounted on Dutch's rifle was a custom-made prop, not an actual grenade launcher. It was made by the prop master John Zemeckis for Scarface for the famous Little Friend scene in the Scarface film. It was designed to fire blank 12-gauge shotgun shells to produce the muzzle flash. After Scarface wrapped, Zemeckis sold the prop to Steambridge Gun Rentals, where it was rented to use in Predator. So the prop launcher has the distinction of being used in Scream by both Al Pacino and Arnold Schwarzenegger, albeit mounted on different rifles. That's a really cool fact right there.
The film was dedicated to the memories of Augustin Iturrate and Federico Isunza, who were both killed on March 31st, 1986 in the crash of Mexicana Flight 940.
Oh, that's incredibly sad.
Kevin Peter Hall stated in an interview that his experience on the film wasn't a movie, it was a survival story for all of us. For example, in the scene where Predator chases Dutch, the water was foul, stagnant, and full of leeches.
Once again, miserable shooting experience, I'm sure it was. The Predator has a grand total of 8 minutes of screen time. Even like that's including all the scenes where we see him like being invisible and all that stuff.
I don't know why Jean-Claude Van Damme could handle 8 minutes.
8 minutes of screen time. He couldn't do kung fu in a suit for 8 minutes. What a dude.
John McTiernan and Arnold Schwarzenegger lost 25 pounds during filming. Schwarzenegger's weight loss was a professional choice. McTiernan lost the weight because he avoided the food in Mexico due to health concerns. Unlike McTiernan, most of the cast and crew suffered from traveler's diarrhea, since the Mexican hotel in which they were living was having problems with their water purification.
We went through that with the original hotel talk right there too. Yeah. Scenes with Jesse Ventura were shown to viewers on the WWF Superstars of Wrestling to promote the movie. On the show and in character, Ventura bragged to Vince McMahon that he was the leading role in the movie and not Arnold. And not that, I think you died less than halfway through the movie, actually. But Jesse Ventura, go for it, man. Get that bag. John McTiernan had been in the middle of the location shoot in Mexico when production had to come to the halt due to the problems with the alien creature suit that had been built by Boss Film Studios. Although Boss had objected to the creature design signed off by John McTiernan and Joel Silver, recognizing the execution would be problematic, the company had delivered it as contracted. As the Boss predicted, the design, which looked spectacular in mannequin form, was nearly impossible to realize as a full-size suit worn by the performer. Leg extensions and third leg joint indicated in the mannequin prevented the performer from walking onto his two legs. The performer is Jean-Claude Van Damme, of course. Instead, he had to put inside a harness and hung from wires mounted on the overhead boom arm with puppet legs extended below him. The time-consuming setup was practically impractical in the dense Mexican jungle. The basic problem, said the SWS Predator team member and co-founder of the Legacy Effects, Shane Mahan, was that they were on location in the jungle with no controlled sound stages and sets, and they needed a creature that can climb and fight and walk through water and everything else that you need to see in the film. The original suit just didn't fit the action requirements needed for the film itself. So there were some of the more technical complaints for the original suit.
John McTiernan wanted Keating to make the camaraderie banter between the soldiers as real as possible. To help this along, the cast trained together on location with weapons, fitness, and military training regimen that started at 6 a.m. every day. So not only were they working out, then they had to do this, including training in the silent hand signals seen in the movie. He stated that even though many of the cast had military backgrounds, he wanted them all to get a chance to know each other, develop as a group, and endure something tough and conquer it together.
Yeah, I remember Jesse Ventura proudly boasting that it was just another day in the park for him because he was so used to everything going on with the military experience. Everyone else was being pansies.
Richard Chavez was bitten by ants. Oh, that happened.
Yeah, essentially Mexican ants. Adding to the problems of the film, the suit had been built specifically for Jean-Claude Van Damme, a world karate champion. They wanted to just tell the guy to hop around like a frog, remembers Johnson, and it was Jean-Claude Van Damme who had no idea what he was getting into. He was just off the boat from Brussels. He thought he was going to show his martial arts abilities to the world, so Jean-Claude comes in for his fittings. Remember, the cloaking device? Beautiful effect. In the day, we made a red version of the suit because the red is the opposite of green for the color wheel. It had been shot against green in the jungle. He didn't realize that he was kind of a stuntman, right? Said Steve. We get him out there for the first shot and he was just seething. We got him back for lunch and he could barely see through his eyes from the rubber muscles of the neck, or he's like, I hate this head. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Said Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, yeah.
Kyle, you know what's being worse than being bitten by Mexican ants?
What's that, Jimbo?
Being bitten by La Cucaracha, because it makes you dance. La Cucaracha.
La Cucaracha.
It's alleged that in the early 90s, the Department of Defense tested a form of camouflage that used millions of fiber optics cables to mirror the opposite side of the objects to be hidden. They got the idea from this movie and Predator 2. The idea behind the camouflage was not to appear invisible, but to replicate what is on the opposite side in the Department of Defense's test footage. Looking at that person wearing the camo, he or she simply appeared like a heat wave.
Oh, that's really cool fact.
Mythbusters
prove
that covering yourself entirely in mud doesn't, in fact, conceal your body heat, because after only a short amount of time, the mud on your skin becomes warmer.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, like, it isn't until like that last fight scene that he actually wears mud for a significant amount of time. You know, the first initial scene where he gets covered in mud, like, he only looks for a few seconds before, like, the Predator goes off and to go find him somewhere else. So it's only that last fight scene where I think it kind of like breaks down a little bit. But even then, it's a movie. Shush.
The distinctive clicking and gurgling sound the Predator makes throughout the movie was thought up by Peter Cullen. After the producers approached him to give the Predator a voice, he was taken aback because he had no idea what such a creature was supposed to sound like. Not to mention that the producers were reluctant to show what the creature was going to look like. They relented in showing him the design, and Cullen, who thought the Predator resembled a dying horseshoe crab, remembered as a kid how it turned one over, it would gurgle, and that became the Predator's sound. The character of Predator was never meant to make the distinctive clicking sound. Peter Cullen had finished 11 reels of King Kong and was coughing up blood. He chose this vocalization because it was easy on his voice.
Oh my gosh. Man, Peter Cullen just went through the ringer in this film, and you wouldn't think like voice actors go through that much, but sure enough, he went through it. Speaking of hardships, though, not just Peter Cullen's, but the hardships of the entire filming, the hardships of the location were many. Gunfire from the Guatemalan rebels could be heard at night, and poisonous snakes often invaded the production camp. Working extremely long and hard days and nights in these conditions, Stan Winston's crew found release in practical jokes. I don't know how that'd be the case, but okay. The hotel where they were staying in Mexico was right under the end of the edge of the forest. Richard Linden recalled, on the lawn were hundreds of frogs hopping in the forest. Some of us went down and gathered a bunch of those frogs, which were huge, half a loaf of bread in size, and filled the shower stalls in Stan's room with them. Then we hid and stood back to hear what would happen, and Stan got back to his room. After a couple of minutes, we could hear him yelling, "Frogs! Frogs! There's frogs in my room! Who put these frogs in my room?" And we stuck our heads in and all instantly asking, "Stan, what happened?" He said, "Somebody put these frogs in my room. I know who did it. Arnold." Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stan were playing practical jokes on each other all the time, continued Landon.
So, Blaine's gun, Old Painless, could only fire blanks for 5 seconds at a time. The stuntman who doubled for Arnold Schwarzenegger for the fall into the river blew out his knee performing his particular stunt. Carl Weathers joked in an interview that Arnold Schwarzenegger got him addicted to cigar smoking during filming. Arnold, famous for smoking cigars, offered one to Weathers, who initially declined because he was a non-smoker for his pro football player days, but eventually gave in. Once Weathers had tried it, Arnold gave him an entire box of cigars. Weathers ended this part of the interview by looking on the camera and cheerfully declaring, "Shame on you, Arnold. Shame on you."
He loves him.
The machete-like weapon Dutch throws at the bad guy was made specifically for the film by a knife maker trying to sell the production of his wares. John McTiernan wasn't thrilled with any of his existing blades, but asked if you could manufacture a machete instead. It ended up being far bigger and heavier than expected, so the stick-around quip was added as a way for Dutch to get rid of it. Schwarzenegger gave it to the director at the end of the shooting, and he still has it to this day.
Pretty cool. Oh, gosh. The Predator and Prey Pack DLC for the video game Mortal Kombat X adds an alternate costume for the character Jax named Carl Weathers, which had him gain Al Dillon's attire from Predator. The alternate skin replaces Jax's default dialogue with new dialogue created by the real-life Carl Weathers. Additionally, selecting the Carl Weathers skin for Jax and playing against Johnny Cage in the Commando skin will unlock special loading screen in which Johnny Cage explains, "You son of a B-word." Before he and Jax recreate the famous handshake between Weathers and Schwarzenegger from the beginning of Predator. So Johnny Cage and Carl Weathers actually do the hand slap like they do in Predator 2.
Editor Mark Helfrich says he may have let the helicopter scene run too long. I had a lot of cool helicopter shots. I wanted to use them. I guess I was influenced by Apocalypse Now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so, yeah. Huge, yeah, there's definitely a lot of Apocalypse Now going on in this film, for sure. The Predator's head was built as a separate piece, and a total of 3 were created for the film. A hero head that was capable of facial articulation, a static stun head, and a head that was completely open at the front for use in the scenes where the Predator is wearing its mask. The animatronic face on the hero head was controlled by a set of 9 servo motors that were enabled disabled motion for the brow area and mandibles, as well as a cheek squint kind of effect. An additional external servo motor added later, hidden under the creature's backpack to move the lower mandibles, which previously did not open as widely as intended. Kevin Peter Hall was able to puppeteer the creature's mouth with his own jaw and wore contact lenses to finish the effect.
Nice. Jesse Ventura said that firing the minigun is like shooting a chainsaw. And Macho Man with buzzsaw.
Shooting a chainsaw is quite an expression.
Real venomous snakes and scorpions invaded the set during filming. So this was just disaster.
Just a daily occurrence on the set there. So
the crew would chop down leaves and replant them in front of the camera for some shots. When they needed shooting in the jungle, 300 Mexican crew members showed up. It was 200 more than they needed.
What's up, your pain? Yeah, cool. Well, I'll show up.
Arnold Schwarzenegger posed for photos with the stake around his shoulders. A crew spent 2 weeks wiring the jungle with explosives to create the destruction in the military assault scene. The predatory scaly's flesh is based on coal or koi, which is carp, and locust. The crew had to improvise and use the resources of the jungle to their advantage too. Stuntmen dug giant holes and locals made massive nets out of vines. The tree the Predator stands on was made of concrete in order to support the weight of the actor in his costume. The crew didn't burn any jungle. The explosion location had already been burned to the ground 2 years prior. They did spray paint a lot of stumps black, though. John McTiernan got the idea for the nuclear bomb countdown from a dream he had in high school.
That's crazy.
Just to make it in. Each character had different camouflage makeup. Dutch wears strong lines to show he's the leader. The Predator's blood was originally supposed to be orange, but it was difficult to accomplish. An effects guy instead suggested they cut open glow sticks and simply pour the liquid wherever they needed. Excuse me. To make fireballs, the crew would just dump gasoline around and light it up. One of the movie's animators actually cut his own name into the Predator's costume, which is cool. The crew covered Arnold Schwarzenegger in mud by shooting it through a hose like they were stuccoing a house. Rambo, First Blood Part 2, and Aliens have been cited as influences behind this film, which you can see that. The Predator costume weighed over 200 pounds, and even though 7'2" Kevin Peter Hall was a large and powerful man, he had to be connected to a bungee rig to enable him to move more believably. The Predator's infrared vision is the same as how snakes detect their prey. And yes, contrary to popular belief, Jesse Ventura was not a Navy SEAL before becoming an actor. He was a UDT, an underwater demolition team sailor, aka a frogman. While frogmen served as the predecessors to the modern SEAL teams, they were in fact a separate designation with different training than modern SEALs.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I think Jesse Ventura probably would insist that he's a Navy SEAL today.
I guess, probably.
Yeah, probably was. One of the other last trivia facts of the film, I remember we talked about the original inception of this film from Jim John Thomas was the idea that they were having a joke about, like, you know, what would like Rocky V or Rocky VI be someday? It's like Rocky has to go fight an alien. And so that was kind of like the kickstarting the idea of like, oh, actually, what do you get when you actually have, like, you know, one of the strongest people in the world fighting an alien? How do you make that kind of an interesting movie? And that's where kind of like the initial inspiration for the Predator movie came from. It's like, let's put in a group of the baddest people around in the world. In this case, you know, they thought of like, who are the coolest people in the world? Navy SEAL team, you know. So like, let's have them fight an alien and just get decimated by it to make it horrifying.
Well, they actually got tricked into going, remember?
Yeah.
They weren't supposed to be there for...
Oh, yeah, they had no idea. And, of course, they had no idea they were fighting an alien at all until they got into the thick of it. But, yeah, they originally thought it was a rescue mission, too. That's the general plot of the film, too.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, Kyle, hit me.
Hit you with it? Jimbo, this movie's a 10. This movie is dang near perfect for what it wants to be, and I think it succeeds on everything it sets out to do. This is about as good as action movie gets as a genre, a defining picture of the genre. So many iconic scenes, so many iconic characters. It's absurd and ridiculous and amazing. It works as a horror film, works as an action film, and it's just all around pretty darn perfect. So I love and adore this film to death. I think it's one of the best films ever made. Yeah, truly. I don't say that lightly. So that's where I kind of feel on it, and I think it holds up. Jimbo, how do you feel about it?
Not so fast, Kyle. Before I give my review, I figured we might as well give old 80s E a chance to say what he would like to say. So here's a little bit of Eric's interview I did with him slash because he had never seen Predator before. We thought we'd throw it in the birthday episode. So here's ADZ. All right, guys, welcome back to the 5th anniversary episode of the podcast. I'm here today with ADZ.
What's up?
80s was unable to come and record with us for the anniversary show, but I wanted to get his thoughts and feelings on the movie Predator, and to come to find out that he had never watched it before. So this is going to be interesting. So
This is true.
Eric, let's go ahead and give me your thoughts, feelings, reviews, ratings, prop piece, whatever you would for the Predator.
Prop piece. I didn't even think about that. Again, I would say that is probably a typical 80s action movie along the lines with Expendables and Rambo, and I probably like Rambo better than this one, but it's that quintessential 80s action movie. It's only like 100 minutes too, right? So it goes by in a flash. I mean, the plot is, I mean, you're in it right from the beginning. I liked seeing the late Carl Weathers. That was cool to see him in an action movie again. Well, again, because it was my first time I had ever seen it. And the reason why is in 87, when this came out, when I was around 12, and again, I think I would have liked it better. I said that, I texted this to you last night. If I had seen it at 12, I probably would have liked it a lot better. But I think it was rated R, wasn't it? I know my parents would have never allowed me to go see the non-TV uncut version. Yeah, there's a lot of language and suggestive stuff in there. So, yeah, that would have been a no-go for them. They might, like you asked me, had they maybe seen it before me? I don't know. I guess I would have to ask.
Did you like Jesse the Body Ventura in there, Eric?
He was probably better liked back then, wasn't he? Than after he became governor of Minnesota. A lot of people hate him these days. Yeah, I mean, he was the rough and tumble, gruff kind of guy.
I love that gun he carried too.
On people's boots and stuff. Yeah, so he said, "I ain't got time to bleed." Classic line. But Arnie, he got better. I liked him in Terminator better, but he's not a great actor. But he got better with time. But I liked how he smoked the big cigars all the way through. That was pretty cool.
Well, did you know actually that the Predator monster was actually going to be Jean-Claude Van Damme? They actually have pictures of him in his outfit, but they ended up not usually cutting him. Yeah, so that's pretty cool too.
I'll have to listen to your guys' episode and get all the back info. Okay, so I have a question. Maybe you know that already, but does the Predator 2, does it go into any of the backstory of how the alien got to Earth?
Well, Eric, I don't know if you know this, but there is more than just two. There's a bunch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and if you, I mean, you even got. Do you remember the movie Aliens?
Yes.
There's even Aliens versus Predator.
Oh, okay.
So
that came after this.
Oh yeah. These are
all
recent.
of them came post this one was the first one in the series.
The series, yes.
Okay.
So the second one, it's different. I don't want to say anything because number one, I haven't watched them in a long time.
Okay.
But number two, I think you should enjoy them for what they are. We'll get you a recap of the entire Predator stuff.
Okay. Carl Weathers getting his arm blown off by the Predator. That was a pretty cool scene.
I think I like the special effects of like when he bleeds, the neon glow of the Predator.
I wouldn't say, if I had to rate it, I probably wouldn't say it would rate very high. I know.
Well, what are you rating
love it? I don't know. You guys go 1 through 10 scale, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably give it like a 7, maybe. I think I looked up IMDb and they gave it a 7.9 maybe by users, and I don't know. I think I would have appreciated it more if I was a younger teen and saw it. It's sort of cheesy, but you know, special effects probably were cutting edge for 1987.
What 80s movie wasn't cheesy though, Eric?
Yeah, I just in general that genre of movies I don't really get into, like the Expendables and the. You know, that type of... That was kind of almost done to death in the 80s, where there was a special forces group. You had the A-Team on TV, and they go into the jungle, and they go on rescue missions and stuff like that. That plot was kind of done quite a bit back in the 80s, but it was okay. I wouldn't say it would make my top 10 list, but I liked it fairly well.
What'd you say your prop piece was going to be?
Boy, I didn't even think about that. I don't know, the aliens. What do you call that? The forks that come out and go in between
for when he's hungry.
The
glove thing.
Now, the other part that was kind of cool, and I'll just bring this up in closing, was how the special effects with the bodies hanging up down and the skinned bodies, and I thought that was a pretty cool effect for back in the day, and how they showed that.
And I thought it was pretty cool how
really gory.
And I really like the special effects of how the Predator could go invisible. If you pay close attention, you can see that, and I like how they did the heat vision. Where he's watching them in the thermal. I thought that was really well done.
I thought it was well done cinematography wise. It just wasn't. It's not my cup of tea, really. But
yeah. Well, Eric,
I'll be interested to hear your guys' remarks when you do the episode, so I'll be listening with full intensity.
Hey, well, thanks for being part of our 5-year anniversary episode. Thanks for everything you do for the Twilight Zone series. It's been fun. We have a lot of good time. And it's nice to rekindle our friendship after being away from each other for so many years. So, other than that, we're going to let Eric get to the chopper.
This interview is over.
God. Well, I think originally when we did this, I gave it a 10. But I went back and watched it again.
You softened on a little bit?
Yeah. I'm going to say a 9. Just because at the time the effects they were doing was groundbreaking. Some of the scenes are a little out there, like running from that nuclear bomb for 40 seconds and didn't get very far.
That's all you need. I saw those infomercials. You duck and cover, and you're fine. Nuclear bomb, it's fine.
Right. But I mean, it's visually beautiful. The characters are all kind of crazy, like Jesse Ventura and Arnold, and
and Mac and Duke,
they all have their own little things too. So yeah, for me, it's about a 9, but it's definitely a must-watch if you've never seen it before. Just to appreciate it. It is probably like one of the granddaddies of action movies, the godfathers of action movies, if you will.
Yeah.
For its time, probably that along with Rambo, I'd say, for the first one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I like Commando a lot more than this one, just because it's a dad trying to find his daughter. So
I understand that sentiment, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's it. So we want to thank everybody for sticking around for 5 years. Hopefully we get 5 more out of this, maybe longer. Mm-hmm. Depends on how long Kyle.
I mean, for me, it feels like 3
because it was. But I want to say thank you to Kyle for coming on board and helping the show to keep going and become the success it is.
It's been a privilege, Jimbo.
He brings a whole different view to the movies because he likes the weird stuff that nobody would like and normal person would never like.
I like, I definitely want to try and go out there sometimes, and I want to defend films that probably don't need to be defended most time for most audiences. Yeah,
so Kyle, from me and all the listeners, thanks for stepping up. Thanks for coming in. I'd also like to go ahead and thank Terrence. Even though he's not here no more, that he was instrumental at the beginning of this, setting the whole thing up, answering any questions I had. And we had a good run there for those first couple years. So
he's definitely a friend.
Definitely a friend, yep. So,
and Jimbo, I want to extend that thank you to you for creating the show in the first place and having me along with you. And buy me a meal or two. And
well, because we know, Kyle, that if I didn't, you would have never watched the 3,000 movies that you have on Vudu. So I have to.
This is the only excuse I got. I have to watch
it's amazing that Kyle actually, when I got down to the Kentucky truck plant for Ford, he was actually the one that trained me, which. Man,
and he's still there to this day.
I'm still there, yeah. And Kyle long gone, so I don't know what happened, but.
Many things.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we do this for fun. It lets us watch a lot of movies that we probably would have never watched because when you have to watch something, then you have to watch it.
Yeah, and it also makes
this looks good. I'm going to buy this.
Yeah, and also it encourages us to think more deeply about those films and like we like and what we like about them. So I think I really kind of go to it deepens my appreciation for a lot of films we cover out here for sure,
and a lot of directors,
and
of the composers,
actors, the whole kit and caboodle, really.
Right. So, if you want to follow us, we are The Tragedy Cinema on Facebook. If you want to reach out to us, we are The Tragedy Cinema at gmail.com. If you want to leave us a review on Apple or Spotify, I'll get a notification. We will read it on the air. So, with that being said, this 5th year anniversary show is coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut. 5 years.